Welcome to Reread, going through the Tales of the New Republic series. I've got some more stories to talk about it. Let's do it. The next one is called The Day of Sepulchral Night. Basically, treasure hunters are going on a planet. It floods, or there's a monsoon all the time, or this is the low tide that happens every X amount of years. And this is where they can get to the treasure in time. But when they get betrayed by their crew, and someone lifts the treasure out and says, don't worry, as the water rises, you'll be able to tread water and get out of that little hole. But see you later. And they take off with the treasure. The one guy turns to the other girl and goes, don't worry. Pulls out a treasure and went, my pockets are full of them. We have enough to get out of here, probably put a bounty on those guys or track them down and maybe get the rest of our treasure. It's not a bad story. I remembered this story, oddly enough, and it reminds me of some other story, and I don't know what it was. I think it was DuckTales. Oddly enough, this seems like an old DuckTales episode where they're looking for treasure, but they realize that the treasure map was drawn when the whole land was flooded, so this mysterious cave is basically on top of a mountain. It's not near the bottom of the valley or whatnot. That's kind of odd to say that, but like I said, it's an okay story. The next one is called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Uhl Eharl Khoehng. It's by Patricia A. Jackson, which means it's garbage. Basically, Jalib, who is a Jedi actor, he teaches Fable how to become a Jedi. It's during the Empire's age, so I'd leave this, both of these stories that I'm mentioning here, I'd leave within the same spot I put Tales of the New Republic, because I don't really care. But anyway, Brandel, who is a dark Jedi, basically approaches Fable at the end of her training and tries to get her to join him and serve the Emperor or whatnot. And it's a great Patricia Jackson story. The tale of Uhl Eharl Khoehng is told. It's a tragedy of a man and whatnot. But again, just like every Patricia A. Jackson story, what is the point? There is no point to this. I don't understand it. She's obviously loved by the fans. She was obviously loved. There's more than one Patricia A. Jackson story in here, sadly. But so far, as I've reread all her stories, there's only been one story that I've enjoyed from her. The next story in this order is The Last Hand. I would put this with all the rest of them in the same timeline I have Tales of the New Republic right now. Basically, Voshay helps Nio track down a lightsaber. Why does the kid want a lightsaber? Because he says, well, I think I want to learn to be a Jedi, and a lightsaber will maybe show me the way. Okay, do you even have the Force? Anyway, Voshay does him one better. After they find the lightsaber, he's going to introduce him to a Jedi Master that's been in hiding, and will train him. He's going to introduce them both so that not only does he have a lightsaber, but he'll get some training too. It still doesn't establish if he has the Force or not, how he even knows if he does. And again, Patricia A. Jackson didn't write that. Oh, maybe she did write this one. Maybe she did. I don't see. This may be one she wrote. I don't know, but it's pointless. It's pointless, even if she didn't write it. I didn't write down who wrote it here. And then the last one is called Simple Tricks. Basically, Finn and Jista are back. This takes place a year or so after the Jedi Academy trilogy. How do I know that? This is the one where they're ferrying someone over, and it's Kip Duran. It turns out to be the butcher of the galaxy, and they're like, oh my gosh. And Kip just wants to die. Well, when Shista gets kidnapped, Kip helps Finn save her, and then later on, Tyone comes and asks for his help on something, so he has to leave, and he tells them goodbye and maybe sees them again soon. This is one of the few Kip Duran stories that was not written by Kevin J. Anderson during the Bantam era. Basically the only one, probably. And it was a fine story. I enjoyed it. I liked hearing about, I'd forgotten that it was Finn and Shista from Another Adventure. I forgot those were the smugglers he encounters. But I love how they're like aghast at who he was. And he kind of, talks back to him. He's like, well, what if one of your crew members would have died? What would you would have, thrown in a rage and probably killed everyone responsible, or everyone you thought was responsible. You would have flown off the handle too. He's not accusing her. He's just trying to reason with her. And she's like, why aren't you dead? Why haven't you been executed? Why haven't you been imprisoned? And he goes, that's a great question. Now, obviously, we know Luke spoke up for him. Luke's going to handle him. They allow Luke this pass because Darth Vader killed a lot, and he got redeemed at the end. Luke Skywalker has Dark Empires happened by then. He kind of joined the Emperor for a little while and didn't stop those world devastators for a while. And I know it was trying to maybe answer that question that a lot of fans were asking, is why wasn't Kip, punished? And who knows? I would have loved to have a discussion with him and Luke in the Jedi Academy, at the Jedi Academy, basically paying for his crimes or dealing with his crimes. And I would love to hear, since we really don't hear much about him until New Jedi Order, how is he doing his penance? It seems like that's what he's doing here, but what other things did Kip do? I mean, we know Jedi Academy of Leviathan, but what other things did Kip do for his penance, for what he did? How does he feel? And I think that was an unexplored area in Kip's life that I think we all would have benefited as fans to hear from, or at least I would have, since Kip Durn is my favorite character in the expanded universe. Overall, these stories are great. Tales of the New Republic is great. Definitely worth your time. Easy to track down. Cheap to get a secondhand copy. And I guess that's it for now. I'll see you next time.